This began at the University of Arizona, and a gentleman named Swede Johnson decided that he was going to limit the number of newspaper stands that we were allowed to have at the University of Arizona. And for a free newspaper, circulation is everything. So that, in effect, was a headshot, if you will. And we retained an attorney, Leonard Sheff, who took that to court, and after a long battle won that victory, and that's how we won the right to circulation. That did not stop the circulation battles. High schools continued to expel students who were caught with copies of the New Times. And that was sort of the climate that existed in Arizona during the 70s when we were beginning. We covered the fact that the sheriff had invested approximately $1 million in cash into various real estate holdings, and we asked how it was that a public servant on a $60,000 or $70,000 salary was able to accumulate that kind of cash to invest in real estate. He hid the nature of these real estate transactions under this obscure law that allowed the sheriff to hide his home address. But as we pointed out, it wasn't his home address that he was hiding, it was his real estate investments. And his home address was all over the web. It was on his nominating petitions. And when we pointed that out and printed that, he launched a campaign with a variety of county attorneys to have us hauled before a grand jury. And that, in fact, happened. We were hit with grand jury subpoenas, and they were remarkably invasive. They wanted to know every source of our reporters who would ever talk to us about the sheriff. They also wanted to know the identity of who read the New Times online. They thought that we could pull that information out of computers and that we should turn that over. We fought that. We refused to give them any of that information. And in the halfway through the grand jury proceeding, we went public with what was going on and said that we were the target of these invasive subpoenas. My partner, Jim Larkin, and I were then arrested and thrown into jail because we had written this particular story. There was a national uproar about this, and the county attorney dropped all charges the next day. And it turned out that there were no grand jury subpoenas, that the prosecutor that was hired to concoct all of this just signed off on these warrants, on these search warrants on his own. There had never been a grand jury. These were illegal from the get-go.